If you ever find a VHS tape without a label, don't play it. Some memories were never meant to be rewound. That's what my father said the night before he died. At the time, I thought it was just one of his rambling warnings. He was sick, half lost in the fog of medication and old age. I nodded, smiled, told him to rest. I didn't think about it again until the day I went back to clean out his house in Ash Grove, Missouri, a place that hadn't changed since I was a kid. The air inside was thick with dust and the faint sour smell of mildew. Every step I took stirred decades of forgotten air, and the creak of the floorboards sounded like whispers from under the wood. I was alone. No siblings, no neighbors nearby. Just me and the relics of a life gone stale. I sorted through boxes of yellowed newspaper, tax forms, and old photographs that had curled from heat and time. Most of it was worthless, but in the attic, behind a pile of broken furniture and a moth-eaten blanket, I found a small cardboard box. My name was written across the top in my father's handwriting. Inside was a single VHS tape, black plastic, with a faint outline of a label that had been torn away. There was a note tucked beside it. For words, never watched this past midnight. I wish I'd listened. That night, after a few beers and too much nostalgia, curiosity got the better of me. I pulled out Dad's old Magnavox VCR from the cabinet and connected it to a dusty television in the living room. The power button clicked, the machine gave a low hum, and the screen came alive with a burst of static. My reflection flickered against the gray snow of the TV, a ghost version of myself staring back. I hesitated. Then I pushed the tape in. The static cleared to reveal footage of our old living room. Everything looked newer, brighter, cleaner. The wallpaper wasn't peeling yet, and the furniture hadn't sunken under age. My father appeared on the screen, decades younger, sitting in his old recliner with a camcorder in his hands. The timestamp in the corner read August 14th, 1993, 2:06 a.m. His face looked tense, like he was listening for something. He kept glancing toward the hallway. The audio was faint, muffled under buzz of the tape, but when I turned the volume up, I could hear him whispering. "It's in the basement again," he said. "Can't get it to stay quiet." He stood up, the camera shaking slightly in his grip. The light from the living room followed him as he approached the basement door. The image wavered, lines of distortion crawling across the screen. Then the tape skipped forward a few seconds, no cut, just missing time, and suddenly he was standing at the top of the basement stairs. The camera tilted down. The steps disappeared into darkness. Something moved in that darkness. It wasn't much, just a flicker, like a shadow sliding between beams. But my father froze. The old camcorder's night vision kicked in, and the colors bled into that sickly green and orange VHS tone. There was a shape at the bottom of the stairs. Human shape, but too still, too rigid. It didn't seem to breathe. The camera focused, glitched, refocused. In one frame, the shape was far away. In the next, it was halfway up the stairs. No movement in between, just closer. My father's voice shook. "Stay back," he said. Then the tape screamed, static bursting like a digital shriek. The screen went black for a few seconds, then cut to a new image. The house from the outside, filmed from across the street. The timestamp said August 15th, 1993, 3:18 a.m. My father was visible through the living room window, pacing. And behind him, barely visible in the grainy footage, stood that same faceless shape. Each time the tape skipped, it was closer, first across the room, then behind the recliner, then directly behind him. The picture froze, flickered, and I thought I heard whispering through the static, soft at first, then clearer. "Do you remember filming this?" I turned the volume down, but the voice didn't stop. It was behind me. I whipped around, but no one was there. The air was colder now. The hum of the VCR had deepened into a low vibration I could feel through the floor. I paused the tape, and the image froze. But the frozen frame wasn't the same one I paused on. It wasn't showing my father. It was showing the living room, my living room, exactly as it looked now. The same TV, same lamp, same half-empty beer bottle on the coffee table. And in the reflection of the TV screen, just behind me, stood a tall, dark shape. I jumped up, spun around. Nothing. The air tasted like copper, like the charge before a lightning strike. I yanked the tape from the VCR and threw it onto the carpet. The screen went black, but the low hum continued, as if the machine was still running. The lights flickered. My phone buzzed once, then died. Every digital display in the house, the microwave, the clock on the oven, even the thermostat, flashed the same time. 2:06 a.m. The same time burned into the tape's corner. I told myself it was a glitch, an old power surge, anything. But then I heard it, a dull thump from beneath the floorboards. Another, then a dragging sound. The basement. Against all reason, I opened the basement door. The air that came up was cold. Not the normal chill of concrete and dust, but something emptier, like the air itself was missing sound. I turned on my phone flashlight and started down the stairs. Each step groaned louder than the last. Halfway down, I saw footprints in the dust. Bare feet, large. The prints led toward the far wall, but where there should have been brick, there was a hole. Jagged, black, breathing cold. I knelt and pointed my light inside. The beam disappeared into darkness, but the sound coming from it wasn't echo. It was static, VHS static. Underneath it, faintly, a voice called out, "Come finish the recording." My phone started recording on its own, the flashlight flickering with each word. Through the camera lens, the hole didn't look like a wall anymore. It looked like a room. My attic, the same one where I'd found the tape. Boxes, blankets, dust. And standing there in the dim light was me. Not me as I was, but me in the same clothes, holding the VHS tape, staring directly into the lens. The timestamp on the phone read November 4th, 2025, 2:06 a.m. tomorrow. The image distorted. The phone vibrated so hard it slipped from my hand and the screen cracked. I bolted up the stairs. The basement door slammed shut behind me, rattling the frame. When I turned, the VCR had ejected the tape by itself. The room was silent again. The digital clock now read 11:47 p.m. I should have left. Should have thrown the thing away. But grief and obsession are the same disease. They make you chase answers you shouldn't want. So I did the one thing I shouldn't. I put the tape back in. The TV came to life instantly. No static this time. Just an image. The living room again, but not from 1993. From now. The timestamp read November 3rd, 2025, 11:47 p.m., 1 minute earlier. The camera angle was the same as my TV's view. And in that grainy footage, I saw myself sitting on the couch, staring at the screen, watching this exact moment unfold. Then, in the background of the image, behind the couch, something began to form. The faceless shape. It leaned forward, its outline flickering like broken pixels. The closer it got to my on-screen self, the louder the VCR hummed. My breathing matched the hum, chest tight, heart pounding. The figure reached out, resting a pale hand on the shoulder of the version of me on screen. And I felt it. Cold fingers pressed against my real shoulder. Heavy, paralyzing. I turned, but there was nothing, just a faint shimmer of heat in the air, like static caught in sunlight. On the TV, the faceless head filled the frame, stretching, distorting, the features shifting for fractions a second. Eyes, mouth, my own face, before melting back into smooth gray nothingness. Then the whisper again, low and electric. "Now you're part of the tape." I blacked out. When I woke up, morning light was leaking through the curtains. The tape was gone. The VCR, too. Only the cardboard box remained on the coffee table. It wasn't blank anymore. My name was still written across the top, but beneath it, in trembling handwriting, were new words. "Do not watch after midnight. Property of Nathan Klein, 2025. I don't remember writing that, but it's my handwriting. I packed a bag and left the house without looking back. I drove 3 hours north of my apartment in St. Louis, trying to convince myself it had all been a dream brought on by grief and exhaustion. But when I opened my front door, the TV in my living room was already on. The screen was nothing but static, soft and whispering. I unplugged the power cord, but the static didn't stop. It flickered, and across the bottom of the screen, a timestamp appeared. August 14th, 1993, 2:06 a.m. The image sharpened for a split second, and I saw the attic again, the same box, the same torn blanket. Something shifted in the corner of the screen. A dark shape moved closer to the camera. Then another frame of static swallowed it whole. And then, clear as day, through the hiss of the TV, a voice spoke from inside the room, inches from my ear. If you find this tape, don't press play.